Is it on?
I think so.
It's working.
Good.
Okay. Shine the light over here.
Yeah.
Okay. We've been stuck in the Paris catacombs for
4 days.
4 days now, and
A lot of people died.
they got PewDiePie.
They got
LaFleur. They got.
What's that?
What's that?
What is that?
Guys, seriously, guys? Again? What are you doing? We have to review the movie.
What?
What is this?
Hi, my name is Jonathan.
I'm Ethan.
I'm scared. I mean, Alex.
And we're here to review the 2014 found footage movie As Above, So Below. So I'm just going to come right down and say,
Yeah.
I think you guys all know, this was one of my most anticipated films of the year.
I would agree. I would second that. I mean, not most anticipated, just for the horror drama.
Right, for the horror genre, I say it is pretty anticipated, as well with the doll movie Annabelle.
Which that's coming out.
Which, when we were going to the theater, I couldn't watch because I'm a big scared baby.
Yeah.
Now, what I noticed was there haven't been any good horror movies this year. Not a lot of really good ones. I think Oculus, some people were thinking
I
that
think
was good.
Oculus was pretty good.
But the other found footage movie that came out this year, Devil's Due, was absolutely terrible.
Yeah,
Really?
it was.
Really boring.
Huh.
Yeah.
So I thought this movie had no
It
competition.
didn't scare Ethan. It didn't.
I mean, I didn't see it because I'm not a baby.
Oh.
But
I am a baby.
Yeah.
Overall, I thought
we'll
this-
talk more about his scaredness, like when the time comes.
Yeah. And you too, you big baby.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, Jonathan.
all right. So I thought this movie had some potential, but I really wasn't looking forward to it that much because it could have been the run-under-the-mill found footage movie where they're shaking the camera.
Yeah.
And they're
I was very excited for it, but I was definitely worried about a lot of things.
Yeah.
A lot of places it has potential to fall flat.
Yeah, I really like the premise though. Like the creepiest thing is you're in the catacombs, you take a wrong turn, you're stuck. When you're in catacombs, you're 500 feet underground. You're not going to be able to tunnel your way upwards.
I think that's really winds up being the scariest thing about this movie
Yeah.
is that
Is the location of it.
it's a catacomb because there's this constant fear of it's going to collapse on you, or will you get stuck, or what if you can't find your way back out. And
Right.
even without anything supernatural, that's just
That's
inherently
already-
scary.
And then
Yeah.
you just throw in all the ghosts
The
and cults,
creepiness.
and it's really terrifying.
Don't forget the
You're-
sounds.
The sounds. In the
And
movie
then
is great.
walking into the gates of hell, you could see in the trailer with the I don't know what it said on the trailer. Maybe it was a
the sign
666.
before the
before the gate.
Yeah.
That's pretty scary. I mean,
yeah, you got a big graveyard. Of course, it's gonna be scary. But now you have like a 600-mile graveyard. Now it's the scariest thing. Period.
yeah.
Yeah. So you guys think this movie did well overall with the scariness?
Just one of the best horror movies of this year.
Has a lot of potential.
Right.
Because of that. I mean, sure, you can have haunted houses, you can have haunted things. Those are really good sets for scariness.
Right.
But this is like venturing into the gates of hell.
Yeah. Right. But I mean, overall, it was pretty scary for the most part. And I noticed it was really. There are points in the movie where it felt choppy to me because you can clearly tell when there are scary times and when there are investigative times.
Yeah. I thought that this movie does have a plot, but sometimes toward the middle of the movie, maybe later in the middle, I think it's less of having a plot and more of just kind of horror, I guess, sort of cliches strung together in this catacomb setting.
Yeah.
And a lot of them were pretty scary, but it did feel a little just like, oh, we're doing this next horror gag now.
It
A
kind
lot
of
of them were good, but a lot of them were not that good also.
I'm kind of thinking it makes a little sense just because, like, when you're in the moment, if you're experiencing something horror, you're not going to be focusing on anything besides, I got to survive, I got to get out.
Yeah.
But I agree with you, they could have done that better.
Yeah.
So with the plot, what did you think of like the story of all the characters' motivations and all that?
It was pretty choppy for at least for the first 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I was really
Disappointed.
banging my head. The script was terrible. It was clumsy,
Mediocre.
and it was just a bunch of plot devices for the people to go from point A to point B.
Yeah.
There were too many conveniences. It was like National Treasure, except...
By the way, they put lemon on the back of like a thing.
Yeah. So totally taking that from National Treasure.
Yeah.
They pulled it down, they looked at the back, and I went to, hey man, what if they put lemon on it? And they laughed, and then they did.
They was like, hey, does anyone have any limes?
Yeah. I think the worst scene in the movie was when they laid out a map and they were talking about clues.
Oh yeah, it's boring.
As you-
It's boring.
Yeah.
No one
Putting up
But this movie is a combination of Lara Croft, National Treasure, and just with the
Except the
horror movie.
bad act. Like if National Treasure was written by like one of us and
Or like Tommy Wiseau.
directed by some sort of like horror movie genre. No, I'm kidding. Directed by a really
Someone
crappy
not very
director
good at directing.
and acted by
You thought that
B-movie
you thought
actors.
that the first 20 minutes was that.
Yeah.
Speaking of the acting, what did you guys think about the acting in general?
It ranged from solid to really mediocre
Yeah.
at times.
There were
Yeah.
some of the times it was really convincing act. Le Touf or whatever.
Le Papi or something.
No.
French name number 4.
Yeah, there you go.
No. The creepy guy.
The guy they found in
Le Trot, which is French
Le
for
Trot.
the mole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was a pretty good actor.
Yeah. Like there were at points where they were really good acting, like when they had. I keep saying this for the review, but they have better scenes where they have to be emotional rather than just normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when they're
I think
like,
it's harder. Like it's easier for just actors in general to want to cry or scream.
Yeah.
But to actually make a just normal conversation seem realistic, I think is more difficult.
Right.
Is
It
it
takes
because
more,
they're all crazy?
so
I think it
when,
takes more finesse.
yeah. So when you have when you have the characters in like very scary situations, I think they do a very decent job, and I like that. Yeah.
All right. So one of the big things I thought about this movie was a lot of the stuff wasn't really elaborated on.
Yeah.
Like they're going in these catacombs and they see a lot of strange occurrences happening, and I don't think it should have explained it. I think
Right.
there should have been mystery, but some things really are just
Should have been explained.
completely
Out
like
of
you don't
the
know
blue.
anything.
Right. Yeah.
Very. Not
I think there should have been hints that you could have picked up on throughout the movie, maybe
Yeah.
subtle, that would have given you insight of what was going
Yeah.
on or
For example,
what
one
it
of
was.
I think the worst scene in this movie is when they just go into the catacombs. Nothing really weird has happened yet, and they look like through a thing, and there's like candles lit and all these people doing like a ritual.
There's
and
all, like,
it's super
dark
weird.
arts.
And the tour guide's just like, oh yes, there are crazy people in the catacombs.
Like that's just like a
It's
normal
like,
thing.
what?
Like that's
Yeah.
just a normal thing that happens
I
every
mean,
day.
it's all like,
any normal person with normal reactions would have been like GTFO.
Right.
Like there should have. It would have made it more realistic if one of the guys flipped out and said, "I'm not going. I'm
Right.
not going."
Well, to be
and
fair-
then they
But-
dragged
but
him in
even-
there.
But
Yeah.
instead, they all acted like you and like, it's fine, don't worry about it.
Yeah,
Isn't
well,
it-
to be fair, there was a
fine.
character that didn't want to be there at all.
But
True, but
one
that
of-
was less
one-
of a. That was more of a. He just doesn't like caves instead of. My human instincts are telling me this is effed up and I need to leave.
Right.
But one of the big problems I had with that scene also was that like you never know anything about it.
Right, that cult ritual sacrifice thing is never explained
And-
again.
Yeah.
There's the woman who, like, when you look through the crack in the wall, who seems to be, like, leading the ceremony. She was earlier in the movie, in, like, the beginning. Like,
Right.
you see her in the background and stuff, and it's like, ooh, creepy, that'll be relevant. And it's really not.
It never is.
So one of the things I also felt they should have elaborated on, or at least played with a lot more, was that a lot when these people are in the catacombs, a lot of things from their past are haunting them.
Right.
Like one of the girls sees her father who killed himself, and people are seeing things from their past.
Yeah.
And I felt like it should have played with that a lot more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think 2 out of 3 of those past events were shown in the trailer, like the flaming car. I won't tell how that fits in, and the guy.
The guy
seeing,
with the piano, yeah.
The guy. No, 3. I'm sorry. Out of 4, the burning car.
Yeah.
The guy seeing the thing underwater.
Yep.
And the piano. So 3 out of 4 of those things were already told in the trailer.
Right. Also, I felt that they were marketing this movie to be, that was going to be the main selling point, that their past was going to be haunting them throughout the
Yeah.
entire thing.
Which would have been really
That
cool.
would have been nice.
But it would have been a lot more original than what they did.
Yeah.
They just
Right.
strained together all the horror cliches.
Yeah.
And I felt. I don't know if it was just me, but I kind of felt like the hell that they were in.
Yeah.
It wasn't sinister enough. It wasn't like when I saw the movie Insidious, the hereafter or whatever
That was terrifying.
That was terrifying. I can picture that wasn't even our visual of hell. Like that was just so creepy. But so I feel like this catacombs thing should have done that, but beyond like
Right.
Yeah.
creepiness.
I will say the one original thing about this movie is something happens at the end. I didn't expect the end to go where it did.
Yeah. It's a very actually like
It was a nice ending actually.
the movie is kind of unpredictable, really, and that's something you don't see in your generic B movie.
That's true.
So, all things considered, all the acting, the story, the scares, the plot, how it's paced, what are you guys all going to give this movie out of 5 stars? Alex?
Well, I want to add, before I give my rating,
Yeah.
I just want to add that, I mean, although I don't really like the story very much, the acting was sometimes mediocre, I did have a great time with this movie.
Yeah.
And there were definitely some times where I was shaking in my seat.
Oh yeah.
And this guy,
That's me.
there was a jump scare that was actually pretty
Pretty
It
good.
was really, really good.
And everyone in the theater just kind of gasped.
And he went.
He screamed.
Not shrieked, but like it was like a man yelled.
He was like,
Sort of
No, it wasn't high pitched.
Kinda.
that was pretty.
There was a scare noise.
Anyways, and the whole theater laughed, and it was funny.
It's not one of my finer moments, but I think it's a more memorable.
Alright, so Alex, back to you.
A lot of my I saw the movie like this.
I was more of like that kind of guy.
Yeah. So all things considered, I give it a 4 out of 5.
Sure.
I like that.
All right.
Yeah. I guess same thing. Really, best part of the movie is the location and having the feeling of claustrophobia
And how it plays on that
right
intensity.
right.
And there were some shocking moments.
There were some shocking moments. Acting ranged, like you said, from mediocre to pretty good, and I thought it was pretty fun altogether. So I'm gonna say a 3.8 out of 5.
Alright, so I had fun with this movie. There were some flaws, and for the first 20 minutes I was banging my head, and I'm like, this is pretty crappy, and some of the scares were inconsistent, but overall I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. It's enjoyable, but definitely not the best horror movie ever.
Yeah.
Okay, I did like this movie a lot. I was anticipating it for many months, but I think I got what I wanted out of it.
Yeah.
There are a lot of plot conveniences that are annoying. The acting a lot of times is not very good, and the horror cliches abound. But the setting's really scary. A lot of kind of original things happen, and I really had a fun time with it. So I'm going to give As Above, So Below a 3.6 out of 5 stars.
All right. Nice.
Sense. Thank you. Like, subscribe, comment.
Whatever you want.
All right.
See you soon.
Bye bye.
See ya.
So, what do you rate movies on?
What do you mean? I rate movies on if it's a good movie. or not.
I mean, what do you base your rating on?
I base mine on a combination of enjoyment and actual film quality.
Enjoyment. So Jonathan's an enjoyment and film quality type of guy. Ethan?
Oh, okay, you really got me.
Yeah, I don't know.
You got me on the spot here.
This would be nice to add after our thing, just like a few segments of this, just for background.
All right. You really got me.
Like maybe 30 seconds.
I guess really how entertained I am during the movie, and just if there are things that I can pick up on, like wow, that's pretty dumb. If I can't notice those things at first, then it's a good movie for me.
For me, it's kind of like basically it could have bad writing, it could have bad CGI.
Okay.
I'm very lenient with movies,
Okay.
but it needs to entertain me, and it needs to entertain me a lot, very
So
well.
you base it just on entertainment.
Entertainment, yeah.
We're like children.
And acting really bothers me when it's bad.
Right.
When acting is bad, I cannot. I like just on entertainment. That kind of sounds like not very picky, but it takes a lot to entertain me for a movie. How about you?
I mean, most people will disagree with me on this, but I actually rate movies pretty much solely on trying to look at it objectively, not on my personal enjoyment. Because, for example, The Purge Anarchy, I like that movie a lot, but I had to admit there was a lot of stuff wrong with it, so I gave it in the low 3s, I think.
Okay.
I know most people reviewing music or movies or whatever on the internet try to do it just on how much they liked it, but I try to look at it from a more objective standpoint.
That's very interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.